Can you believe Christmas is just around the corner once again? I've been making these beautiful baubles for the last few years and they're really fun to make, all completely unique. So I thought I'd show you how I make them so you can make some of your own. You firstly need some clear baubles. You can get them in both plastic and glass in loads of different sizes. These are plastic ones and are pretty large at 10 centimeters diameter. For the first stage, you'll need alcohol inks in colours of your choice, plus metallic, silver or gold. And for the second part, you'll need some fluid acrylic paints or inks. You'll also need a can of compressed air with one of these long nozzles. And lastly, something to balance your baubles on to dry. I have these plastic cups. To start, I choose one of my coloured alcohol inks and either silver or gold. Make sure you give the metallic inks a really good shake first to mix them. Then I drip some ink around the opening of the bauble and immediately then follow it with the silver alcohol ink. And then I take my can of compressed air to blow the ink around inside the bauble. Don't worry too much about what they look like at this point, as it will change a lot during the drying process. I then put the bauble upside down in the cup for about a minute to let the excess ink run out before turning them back the right way up again to dry. And I'll just set this one off to the side so that I can carry on making more. You have to wait for the ink to dry before you can move on to the next stage, so I make these in batches and I'm just continuing in the same way. This time I've put the metallic ink in first and then followed by the red ink, and I'm tilting it around and then blasting it with air again. I think this one probably needs a bit more ink, so I'll just add some more. Blast it with air again, and then the same way as last time, it goes upside down for 1 minute and then the right way up to dry. This is a really lovely pink ink and I'm going to use silver with this one. So, quick public service announcement. Ideally, you should wear a respirator when you're using alcohol inks, as they are toxic. But if you don't have one, please make sure that you have the windows open and don't use them around children or pets. This one's looking really pretty. This emerald green is a really, really beautiful colour, and I love the way it looks with the gold alcohol ink. So I'm just going to stick with inks today, but if you want a glittery effect, you can add a pinch of glitter at this stage while the alcohol ink is wet and blast it with the air, which sends it all around the bauble, and that can look really pretty. I'll show you some examples later on. This colour's called Midnight Blue. That's really gorgeous. You can of course use more than one colour in your baubles. I'm just keeping these ones quite simple, but for the last two I probably will mix them up a little bit. So just turning those green ones the right way and onto purple. I always struggle deciding whether I prefer purple with silver or gold, because I just think they both look gorgeous. But today I've gone with the gold colour. So yeah, for the final two baubles, I'm going to mix some colours together. This one is teal, blue and green, and I'm going to use both silver and gold for this one. See what that looks like. I think it will end up really pretty. I love the way the colours are blending together already. Look at that. Gorgeous. And for the last one, I've got magenta, teal and purple with both silver and gold again. Looking at the way the teal and magenta mix together, this one might just end up purple, but we'll see. Blue as well, why not? Oh, that's lovely. I hope that one dries like this. So if you end up leaving the baubles upside down for too long, or you don't like the way they dry, don't worry, you can add more alcohol ink and try again. Alcohol ink reactivates itself, so nothing set in stone at this stage. Equally, if you find you've too much ink pooling at the bottom like these ones, you can just either leave it there to dry or use the air canister again to blast the ink a bit more around the bauble, and that just helps disperse it a bit more. And now we're going to leave these all to dry. These are all dry now and ready for the second part. I call this the splatter stage. This is optional depending on if you like this look or not. I'll show it both with and without, so you can decide if you want to try it. So I need to go through and look at each one and decide on a colour of fluid acrylic paint that will either complement or contrast with the colour of the bauble. So let's start with our really light blue one. I think for this one I'll probably go for a dark teal acrylic paint because I think that will contrast really nicely. And all you need to do for the splatter stage is drop some ink in the bottom of the bauble, take your can of air, put the nozzle of the air right up close to the paint and then blast it really sharply. So this will send the paint splattering all around the inside and just give it another pretty cool look. I might do that again because these baubles are quite big. Obviously on a small bauble it will go absolutely everywhere, so I need a bit more paint on a bauble of this size. That looks black, but it actually is a tealy colour. And it'll dry that way. So now we just set it off to the side to dry again and move on to the next one. So this was the one that I mixed together, all of the cool colours plus silver and gold, and you can see it has ended up predominantly green, but it's a much more kind of minty, subtle colour to the emerald green. It's really pretty. And then lastly was the pink, teal and purple, and then silver and gold. That has turned out just beautifully. It's so pretty. Yeah, so probably let's stick with pink for this one. Nice. It's probably my favourite. And as I said, this stage is completely optional. If you don't like the splattery effect or you don't want to get really messy, you can skip this completely, and I'll show you what we do to finish them off in the next stage once these are all dry. So the splattering is all dry in these guys, and the last thing I like to do is use fluid paint again to sort of act as a background, and that really makes the alcohol ink shine and stand out. I do like the translucent look on these, but I just think the background makes them look really expensive and solid. So I decide what colour I'm going to do depending on what effect I want. Sometimes I go for a dark colour and that really makes the metallics pop, and sometimes I'll go for a lighter colour and that kind of looks almost more ceramic. So I'm going to go for a lighter colour for this one. I think I'm going to use the Barrier Reef colour again, which is a light blue. So to do the background, I just gently squeeze some ink into the bauble. Make sure there's enough to fully cover the inside. And then I gently tilt and rotate it, looking down into the hole until the whole surface is covered. The acrylic inks work really nicely for this because they are the perfect consistency, but you could water down some normal acrylic paint too, if that's what you have. And then once that's all covered, make sure you don't have loads of paint left in the bottom, otherwise it will take a really long time to dry. And then just set it to the side and leave it. So I'm going to carry on doing that for each one of these. The warmer colours I think I'm going to do, I've mixed up this white with gold in it so that it's not as stark as just white on its own. Some I'm going to do white, and then these ones I'm going to do dark, I think. Yeah, let's go. So these now need to be left to completely dry, and that can take a couple of days depending on how thick the paint is. You can leave them somewhere warm to speed the process up, and then we will come back and see how they ended up. Okay, so in total me style, I turned the camera off and then decided that I didn't like the background colours that I'd chosen for some of these baubles. But isn't that the most wonderful thing about being creative, is we get to change our minds. So for some of these, I washed them out with a bit of water, let the paint drain out, let them dry, and then I did them in different colours. And I'll show you now how they turned out. The final thing we need to do to finish these off is refit our cap. And to do that, you just squeeze the metal together very gently, pop it back in, and we're done. So these are the two teal ones. This is the one I used the splatter technique on, and this one I didn't, and you can see that this is much more simple in design. And for the backgrounds, I did this one in a navy blue and this one in a light blue. So yeah, you can see the subtle difference there in terms of the background colour. Here's my beautiful emerald green one with gold, and this one has a dark blue background that is still slightly transparent, so you can see through it. These are my two pink ones. This is the one that I showed on camera that had white background, so that looks much more pink. And then this one I did a navy background, so that looks more purple. This is my beautiful deep red burgundy one. I could have kept it bright red by using a brighter red background, but I really, really love how elegant this looks. It's sort of gone coppery burnt orange as well. Really pretty. Absolutely adore this dark blue one with silver. Again, this had a navy background to really, really make it look elegant and make those silvers really shine. So I did two of the purple and gold with really interesting results. This one was just purple and gold with a navy purple background. This one I did an ombre type effect with some purple and some bright blue in the background. And it's made this really interesting effect with loads of different colours out of it. And it sort of made the gold go a bit rose gold coloured, so very interesting. And then finally we had my experimental ones where I added different coloured alcohol inks to them. This one ended up a sort of minty green colour with the silver and the gold as well. That was really pretty and understated, I think. This one is probably my favourite one I made. Yeah, it's so pretty and dreamy. It did end up predominantly purple as I predicted, but all the different tones that the metallics have brought out, as well as the webbing here that the alcohol ink has made, just so pretty. The fantastic thing about these is because the paint is on the inside, it won't ever scratch or peel off. Don't they look lovely? Each one completely unique. They would make great gifts and have sold well for me at Christmas fairs in recent years. I hope you'll give them a go and please let me know how you get on. Subscribe to my channel for more arty projects and tips, and until next time, happy creating and very, very happy Christmas.